This video focuses on what we call text boxes in Microsoft Word. The reason we have a video for this in particular is because the new Lloyd's documents use text boxes a lot, pretty much on every single page. So it's important to know some simple ways to edit them. First of all, we've got a blank Word document here. What we'll do is insert a new text box. So I'll go to Insert and I'll click on Text Box. I'll just choose the basic text box to insert, which is the one that we use in the Lloyd's documents. So I'll click that, and you can see that this text box can now be moved around. Text boxes, like any element, will butt up against other elements on the page by default. So if I have a bit of text here, and if I move this text box around by dragging on it, you can see that the text moves to adjust it. Now, that's okay, but for the purpose that we use text boxes, it's not very useful to have it moving other elements around the page. It makes it quite messy, because if we have two text boxes, you can see it's going to get quite messy on the page. And if we also use images, they're all going to collide. What we want to do, whenever we insert a new text box, we want to right-click on that text box and click More Layout Options. This will give us a pop-up window. And the very important option we want to choose is to not move object with text. So we untick that option. We don't want to move the object with the text. We want it to be independent of text. Allow overlap, that can remain ticked, so that's fine. And also, under text wrapping, under that heading there, we can choose how we want it to wrap with the text, and we'll select in front of text. So our text box will sit on top of any other text on the page. So having made those two changes, unticking move object with text, and on the text wrapping page, making the element in front of the text, if we click OK, we can see that this text box is now much more we've got a lot more maneuverability of this text box without it interfering with other elements on the page. So we'll do the same with this text box, because we haven't changed that one. That's still moving the text. We'll right click on it, go to More Layout Options, untick that option, Move Object with Text, and under the text wrapping, click that it will sit in front of the text, and click OK. So now we have two text boxes that are completely independent to anything on the page, and it makes it really easy to position, because we can position this right up in the corner, we can make it big, we can make it small, and it's not impacting other elements on the page. By default, all the text boxes that are in the Lloyd's templates already have these formatting options applied to them. So you won't have to go through and do this on every page. The only time you'll ever have to choose those options is if you add a new text box, as we did, via Insert, Text Box, and by choosing this option here. If you do insert a text box, it's important not to have a text box already selected. You can see I've clicked on this text box and that's got it selected, because we can see the boundary box around it. If I now click on inserting another text box, it's going to insert it inside this one. So to deselect that text box, we just click outside the page into this grey area, and you'll see that that deselects the text box. So with nothing selected, we can now insert a text box onto the page, and then we can apply those formatting options.